Hey everybody, it's Matt from the house, and in this video we're going to show you a couple different ways that you can actually turn your skateboard. So let's check this out. All right, so you got yourself out, you're pushing yourself around, and now obviously we don't just want to go in a straight line everywhere we go, so we got to be able to turn and get that board to move back and forth and right and left, and there's a couple different ways you can do that, and they involve two different kind of sets of skills, but we're going to give you some tips to show you exactly how to do that. So right off the bat with a skateboard, the easiest way to turn a skateboard and the most traditional way is just to lean on it. Your skateboard has these trucks, and the trucks have this bushings, and on this one you can kind of see it's that red urethane. It's kind of a softer material in between the hanger and the base plate of the truck. And then basically what happens is when you lean down on your board, it actually causes that to flex a little bit. But when it flexes, it doesn't flex straight down, it actually flexes at an angle. And when you've got these trucks at opposite angles and you flex, it causes those trucks to flex and kind of do this a little bit, and then you travel on, kind of on an arc from wheel to wheel. So, real easy. Obviously, when you're standing on your board, it's just a matter of pushing down with your toes and pushing down with your heels. A lot of people think that it's a lot of leaning, and yes, it is a little bit of leaning, but it's more about pushing down. If you lean too much and you're not going fast enough and you don't have enough centrifugal force to hold you down, you're gonna fall off the board. So it's really just a matter of pushing from toe to heel, and you can do it very gently or you can do it very hard. It just really depends on, how hard you want to turn and how, comfortable you feel too. But great way to start is get yourself out, give yourself a couple little pushes, and just start pushing down with your toes. Take that little bit of that toe side turn. Also on your heels, same thing too. Push, give yourself a heel side. Do that a few times until you feel comfortable and you found that spot where you're not leaning too much and you're doing more pushing with your toes, and then move to the heels and practice that with your heels. And then obviously link them together, give yourself a little bit of speed. Go toe to heel, and just leaning on the board, nice and easy, and pushing straight down with your toes. Your board has that curvature, which they call concave, and that basically helps lock your foot in and give you a little bit more leverage when you're turning. Also, you can adjust your trucks to you, and looser or tighter to actually make the board turn easier or feel more stable, just kind of depending on how you like your board to feel. There's no wrong way. One thing, if you do find if you are turning and your wheels are hitting the board, if you turn and then all of a sudden your board stops, that means you're getting what's called wheel bite. And that's where your wheels hit your board, and we don't want that happening. And usually you want to throw a tool on there and tighten it up just a little bit so you're not getting that wheel bite. You want to find that perfect spot for you and your body weight and for how hard you turn, so you're not getting wheel bite, but you can obviously turn as hard as you need to turn. And for most people, it's just a personal preference. Some people like those stiffer trucks, some people like those looser trucks. But again, that's the easiest way to turn on a skateboard, is just literally pushing down and flexing those bushings and flexing those trucks and just moving toe to heel. All right, the second way to turn your board is kind of like a kick turn or a tic-tac, where it's basically you're actually lifting the front of the board, moving it a little bit, and setting it down. And you can do that over and over again to kind of get yourself to turn in a certain direction towards your toes, obviously, or towards your heels. And this one's a little trickier because it does involve a little bit more balance. But the big thing on this one is a lot of people think that when you're actually moving this board and you're pushing down on the back to lift the front up, it's something you're actually not doing. You're not pushing down on the back. If you have all your weight towards the back of the board and you push down on it, and as soon as you lift this front foot up, it's actually gonna wanna go that way. You wanna keep your weight over the board as much as possible. So the trick here is actually not leaning back, but it's just putting your foot on the kick of the board in the back and putting your weight on it. Then you're not actually pushing down. What you're actually doing is lifting your front foot up. If you stand on the back and you try to pick your foot up just a tiny little bit off the board comes with your foot. If you pick it up a lot, the board goes all the way with your foot. So if you've got your weight on that back foot, that's all you need to get this board to go up in the air, it's just, again, a matter of just picking your foot up just a tiny, tiny little bit. So once you learn to do that, and this is something that you can kind of do just cruising in a straight line, is just kind of put your weight on that back foot and pick your front foot up just a little bit. And you'll notice the board will come up and you can set your foot right back down. And so just pick your foot up, set it down, pick it up, set it down. Nice and easy. You don't have to do it a lot, just tiny, tiny little bits, and use those baby steps. Then from there to get into the turn, it's the exact same thing, but the difference here is you're not just picking your foot up, you're picking it up and you're moving it in a direction. So the grip tape and the soles of your shoes, they grab each other, and obviously with that concave of the board too, that helps a lot. But if you pick your foot up just a little bit and move it, towards your toes, the board is gonna go right with it. Another thing too is using your shoulders and using your upper body. A lot of people don't realize that your upper body does a lot. If you actually turn your upper body and we keep turning and we keep turning and we keep turning, you get to a point where you can't turn anymore without your lower body going. So it's the same way. If you start to initiate with your upper body just a little bit and turn your shoulders in the direction that you want to go a little bit, and then again, pick that board up and move your foot over, it's actually going to make the board want to come with you even easier. So you can take those little turns, or when you get better at it, you feel more comfortable, you can fully wind your body and pick that board up and swing it all the way around. So instead of taking, 5 to 10 little turns, you can take one big turn too. But again, it's something you just got to kind of work up to. And this is obviously something you can do in the opposite way too. Open your body up a little bit, turn your chest towards your heels, pick it up, and again, turn the board towards your heels. But again, it's mostly about just picking that front foot up while you have your weight on the back foot. You don't want to push down on the back. You don't want to really lift your foot up really big. It's just little tiny movements that make a big difference. All right, well, thanks for checking out our video on how to turn your board. Find yourself a nice big empty parking lot somewhere it's nice and smooth. Watch out for rocks and cracks and things, and just get out there and do it over and over again, and take those baby steps. Do the little tiny turns before you start to do the big turns, and you'll get there, and you'll find you'll actually catch on a lot quicker than you think too. But make sure if you're feeling uneasy, get off the board. Don't try to stay on the board. It's a way that the board wants to roll out from underneath you. So both feet at the same time, hop off the board, step off the board, but don't try to stay on it if you feel uneasy. Also, make sure to leave us some comments down below if you got any questions about this video or any of the other stuff we've got at thehouse.com. Like, subscribe, get that bell on so you can find out when all the new videos drop. And yeah, whether you're tic-tacking around or you're just nice, smooth carving and flexing your trucks, get out, ride your board, turn and cruise around that lot, and get those fundamentals, because any day of riding is a good day of riding.